Hello, I'm Kerrie O'Connor, and welcome to, I'm going to call it the midweek, a little bit late, message for the week. Today is the 11th of March. I meant to record this yesterday or even Tuesday, and I had to kind of surrender into, it was just not happening. Boy, oh boy. All right. I made some notes, so I want to kind of follow these to keep this in a little bit of order. What I kept on seeing and hearing and sensing when I'm looking at what's going on for humanity right now, what's going on with the universal energy, and also what's going on with us individually and collectively. I kept on hearing the Ides of March, right? And it's a very old saying of March 15th, March 17th. There's this wind of change coming in energetically, and that we could be feeling this now, even though this is, next week. And then I saw this energy coming deep within the earth in a lot of people's energy field. It was Morse code, SOS, 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 right? From deep within their heart, a big S.O.S., right? And I saw it in a split screen. And so whenever that message comes through with me in a split screen, I'm seeing the two things that are happening right now. Those of us that are people that live in the matrix, just really into that human doing thing, just, again, plugged into the matrix, just not connected to their spiritual self at all. And even those that are awakening, this is a good message. That the SOS I saw as the urgency, emergency kind of energy that people are feeling. A lot of people are feeling something's about to happen and that kind of thing, like major shifts, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And then I also saw SOS as same old stuff in one screen. Then another thing that I saw coming down from heaven, from the fifth dimension and beyond, whatever you want to call it, this bridging energy that the elders continue to talk about of SOS, S as in seat of soul, right? That we, as we continue to unfold and allow our bodies to upgrade with the current energies that are around and available for all of us, that we're being magnetically pulled into be in this seat. And then a very simple image, imagine being in the driver's seat of this convertible car, right? And my guides have shown me this for years, that part of all of our journeys, when we zip up into this human body and we forget that we're all angels having a human experience, that's God creator energy within each and every single one of us, we all are in the back seat. Some people have blankets over their head. And so part of our journey is to get out of that back seat, right? Make our way into the passenger seat and then go over to the driver's seat. And even when we graduate, you could say, to the driver's seat, I still see there's a process going on. When somebody's sitting there, they start moving their hips around to where they're getting comfortable in that seat, how they're directing their life force, their God force, right? And then it literally it might sound kind of weird, that it looks like a child driving, where at first the more comfortable we are in the driver's seat of how we're directing our life force and doing it consciously, the more it looks like our energetic legs grow, our hands grow, and then all of a sudden I'll see like our hands on the stick shift. And so it's a real message of us being able to be in the present and be able to really feel like whatever life gives us, we're able to shift ourself, rotate out of the chaos, right? And the more we practice this, we will have times where it seems like those gears are stuck in a gear, or that they're, whatever, like that kind of energy. But we want to really stop, drop, and roll when we're feeling that. One of the techniques I'm going to give toward the end is what my guide said very simply: stop when we're getting to the chaos, drop into your heart, into your God self, put your hand over your heart, breathe into the energy, roll as in radiate out your creator within and throughout, your angel, whatever word resonates with you. It looks all the same in the energetic world. So the theme again is this week, as we are doing this Morse code thing, right? SOS, and that the energy, a lot of people are having not sleeping, having crazy dreams. I had, I think the last time I spoke, I was just talking about having 5 different dreams, lucid dreams. They look like video clips where I was very well aware of the 5 different dreams going on at the same time, and I could work with changing the outcomes. So that's really a sign that we are being much more aware of our multidimensional self, our multifaceted self, in that the more we consolidate our energy and unplug from chaos, the more we're in the driver's seat of how we're directing our life force, our God force, the more we know how to navigate, right? And the guides, and a lot of people ask me, who are your guides? Who before, now you call them the elders, and I've always kind of called them the elders, but there's more and more new people coming on. And so they call themselves like the council of 12, the council of 9, the council of 12, and they're ascended masters. There's a lot of Metatron energy there. There's a lot of Ashtar, and there's also aspect of my higher self. And I see the Marys coming in, and the Sophia, and grandmother spider is a shamanic term of the energy of the creator. She's known through shamanism as she created the universe, she created the worlds with her web and of creation. And so that's the energies that have guided me my whole life. And the more I got comfortable and understood what they were saying, it was a process for me. It was like started when I was very young. They started with Jesus and the Blue Lady, right? I used to call her the Blue Lady because I was young. And as I got older, I understood. So that's the information that's guiding me, right? And so going back to the Morse code. So here we have this energy that is really, really building up. Next weekend is the spring equinox. And so the first 3 weeks, of June, good God, March, I just saw this amazing energy that throughout February, I saw a lot of pink and magentas, and there was really a lot of heart action going up, opening up and clearing out our wounded heart and being able to access the quantum heart or the sacred heart or the part of us when we're living in this space. We can be in this world and not of it, be in the driver's seat of how we're directing our life force. So there's a lot of that going on. But going back to the Morse code, right? We're looking at life through the matrix, the duality. There's a lot of chaos right now. There's a lot of worst fears and nightmares that are being brought up to the surface for people individually and collectively. Like, I'm talking about a primordial fear here, right? That keeps us locked and frozen and not being able to move. But if you look at it from any other perspective, it's coming up from the surface for us not to get frozen, but for us to transmute it. The more we can be aligned with the creator within and throughout our own aspect, the more it transmutes that energy. And there is that old patriarchal way that is breaking down, guys. We are bridging into this amazing bridging time where we're bringing back the divine feminine. And this is not about male and feminine bodies. It's not about bashing men. It's about where we are evolving. In the old patriarch had its run, and it served a lot of purposes. And now as it's breaking down, you could say that there's and its last hurrah, and its last hurrah is really trying to keep in with fear, plug us in, because there's an energy that gets fed by that, right? And other signs of that old patriarchal getting down is like the chosen ones or the guru, or handing over our power. There's a lot of cult mentality that's going on now for us to transmute. And the gurus sitting at somebody's feet, that's all part of the old. And when we really understand that nobody has any more God force, God codes, soul codes than anybody else, and really tap into that and develop a taste for it and let that and connect to that, then you start seeing that in your life, right? And there's a lot of white shadow going on too. So we know the typical dark shadow stuff, that pain, jealousy, fear, hate, rage, all that stuff. But the white shadow could be a little bit more trickier. And I do want to say Stuart Wilde introduced me to that term, the amazing Stuart Wilde, who just joined. He's in spirit now, but he likes to come in when we talk. And the white shadow can be trickier, and it's actually a shamanic term too. So the real fear frozen is really obvious. We feel it going through our whole body, but the white shadow is when we feel, for example, oh, I worked on, that issue with my mom and my parents, and I'm done with it. I'm all good. And then there's still a part of them that still consciously or unconsciously still holds a lot of resentment, or they're still wounded by it, or they're still victimized by it, or sabotage themselves with it. And so this is, again, not judging. This is just the energy that's coming up. So on the bottom level of the matrix, we have that real strong fundamentalist, my way, I am the one, the chosen one, all of that kind of energy pushing forward, right? And we want it to come up to the surface, and then with us individually ask, where am I being a bully? There's a bullying energy. Where do I bully? Where do I push myself on, Because we are graduating to a much more inclusive energy. And this is where we're going. And this is going to spill over to businesses. This is going to spill over to health. This is going to spill over to every department in our life, our relationships, right? And again, this isn't my rules. These are universal laws that created the universe and beyond in the cosmos. And so I'm just the messenger, right? And so as the SOS is coming out, that patriarchal energy is losing its power, and there's a guarantee win guy, people that we want to remember. I was looking at different people or channels that channel like their future selves or whatever, because we could do that too. Or the angel aspect of them is them in a different timeline and zone. And we are at this major cross point, humanity is, individually and collectively, for us to, again, evolve to this next energy, bringing in the divine feminine and balancing that energy. And then it balances the male and the feminine within. And then it gets like this trinity, this holy trinity, where we have easier access to our creator within and throughout, right? So, right. So it's losing the power of the SOS. The white shadow, again, could be trickier because a lot of people, I know and see a lot of people out there that have done work on themselves, and they're not aware that this is a little part of their white shadow stuff. And I'm not saying this in judgment. It's just, we're all here to grow and expand together, right? And individually and collectively, this stuff is coming up. And if you go to the universal law, all is one. When some person's showing a white shadow aspect and or the darker shadow, there's an aspect of us within, right? So the elders also showed me this amazing picture where I've said this, spoke of this before, either in classes or the talk that I do with Melissa on Baker on 11 o'clock on Mondays, awakening and accessing the angel within. But this round table energy. So this has been a journey that I've been watching unfold since 2018. And this message, again, is for us individually, for the world, and for the cosmos, for the heaven, right? I always get things in three different directions, three different ways of reading it. And so the round table is, again, a very simple message. So a spirit, our higher self, speaks in symbolic language. And the more we understand and become fluent with this language, we get it, right? And so, excuse me, when I first started seeing this table, it had 12 chairs on it, actually. And so the very fast message in 2018 was, here we have reached a point where enough people through the world, this is like woke, And I have to talk about woke too, because there's a lot of shadow woke. There's a lot of shadow in the woke people. If they're, the woke has got to evolve a little bit. But anyway, so as we start getting connected to, again, different aspects of ourself, or just even starting that first process of feeling plugged in to our angel within ourself, the creator within, and starting to develop a relationship with that and start to feed that relationship and anchor that relationship in, right? So going back to the table, just to keep this real short, because it's really involved. So at the beginning of this week, I saw that table, and all of a sudden the center of the table looks really alive, and in the center of it is this amazing heart. It's like this multidimensional heart that when you feel it, see it, sense it, just imagine it, it wakes you up to love that doesn't even have words. Bliss love, unconditional love. Even those words don't describe it, right? And so I noticed this time, though, that it looked like a 12-inch piece of ice was over the table. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. And they're like, hey, watch this. And so all of a sudden, excuse me, that table started tilting up and it went 45-degree right. And then all of a sudden, this 12-inch ice, I'm doing air quotes here, slid off on 45-degree left and went into, it looked like it dropped down into this abyss where it just chopped up into all different places. Then it looks like almost like an iceberg thing, right? So what the heck does that mean? That showed me in a message for all of us individually and collectively that humanity, that we're at this part, that iceberg represents 12 inches of where we're frozen, stuck, disconnected with our God self, right? And the way it slid off, it also is affirming for us that we are going in the light direction, that we are evolving individually and collectively. And you want to remember that the chaos outside, when you look at what's going on in the world, there's a lot of division, but also with that division has made people get off the fence, see what they're doing in their lives, get back into balance, right? And this is way beyond politics. This is like changing every single aspect of our life, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? So as we are sitting in the driver's seat, right, of our life force, how we're, doing the stick shift thing and the brakes and all that stuff. That table also is holiness. And then when that ice part slid off for us, that instantly said that we are having easier access. When I look at the individual blueprints or energy field or aura, whatever you want to call them, I'm watching these minute tubes that are opening up, especially on the sideways, so underneath our arms, along our ribs. And the more it opens up, it's like an angel expanding its energy wings. It's a bird expanding its wings. And so it gives us new air for us to clear the air of the static and chaos that appears to be outside. And when I pause like that, I'm doing air quotes. I don't know to who, but maybe I'm practicing when I do videos. Anyway, so there's this amazing, then that heart energy came up, and it came up stronger than ever. So the message that we want to remember throughout this week is, even throughout the chaotic stuff, even throughout like worst fears and nightmares came up. I had a dream on Tuesday night that stopped me in my tracks for like a day and a half. It was including my daughter, and I know it was past life, but it was worst fear, worst nightmare, horrific. And I just couldn't cycle out of it for a while, It was way too many details and stuff, but I understood it was just part of, in my own journey, even past life stuff or past experiences where it came up to the surface so I could transmute it and not be frozen in the terror of it, right? So this is really, really good news when we are sitting down at the table for inclusive. This is about collaboration. This is about empowering. This is about the weavers. The elders are the weavers, where they're weaving and putting a support system in us individually and collectively so we could expand our wings, so we could look beyond the matrix, the duality, the chaos, and be able to create heaven on earth now. And I really want you to think that heaven on earth now. When I go outside and I'm in a space, I just look at everything's alive and it looks very heavenly. Then you go down the street, look at the papers, and just see people being nasty to each other. And it's like, wow, this is really crazy. This is just duality at its most, right? And then not getting pulled into it. So somebody cuts you off, flips you off, or blah, 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 screams at you. You're just like, whoop, I'm stop, dropping, and rolling. I'm getting into my own little tube here, the center of myself, where I always give the exercise of see yourself as an angel in the center of your heart, getting the energy bigger, top of the head, bottom of your feet, peridium, root chakra, and then radiate the energy throughout your whole physical body. And then it looks like the rays of sun. And then you pause and you go out 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 feet. You're going from the inside out and filling in those energetic blind spots that we have in holes, because Most people don't do energy awareness or attunements or maintenance. And so their energy field looks like Swiss cheese. So they got bombarded by the chaos, right? And I've said this before. My guides have said this to me years ago, that there'll become a time when energy maintenance is mandatory for people. We brush our teeth twice a day. We take showers, blah, blah, blah. We've entered that time, right? And so, we want to remember this, and there's all different ways to do this. But I did want to talk about my notes number 6, that there's signs. Signs of what? Signs of the 5th dimension, signs of heaven. You're going to open up your intuition. And then after you open up and you start noticing it, you back yourself up. You notice more synchronistic things going on, right? You feel more flow, more money, health, happiness. You feel more enlightenment. You lighten up. You get a little humor, right? You laugh. There's more moments of bliss. There's a timelessness that's going on. This bridging is accessing the crystalline body of our original blueprints, and all of us are connected to that. It's the soul's codes. It's the God codes. And when we start getting connected to our own soul codes, God's codes, and start really watering them and moving them around, encoded in it is our angel name, is our deepest desires, what we want in a job, career, relationship. It sounds too easy, but this is how we've been not looking inside forever. So there's that real energy for us to be and feed and activate that your unique aspect of creator and radiating that from the inside out. And then you start noticing your outside world changing, right? And so, as I said before, tips. Energy maintenance is mandatory. I'm doing air quotes there. Unplugging from the chaos, and especially if you feel yourself getting pulled into it, connecting to nature. Remember to breathe. So many people do short, shallow breaths. Taking your hand over your chest and breathing, right? Be here now, the mantra, be. And when I write that out, it's a big B-E, capital letters. Be here now. Have that be your mantra. Be. And when you're saying be, you put your hand over your heart and you just anchor right into your core of your body. Here, you're unplugging from anywhere where you're getting plugged in, and now is when you kind of radiate the energy. Stop, drop, and roll kind of thing, right? And I also pulled a couple of cards. I think I said this in my last chat thing, that I was guided to kind of pull cards for people's individual messages. So it doesn't matter when you listen to this. I'm encouraging you to see this message is for you individually and also collectively for all of humanity. I shuffle the cards and I say, all right, what is the message that we need on for now to the next time we talk on Monday, right? And the major thing was forgiveness, no surprise, right? And so we're having opportunities to do forgiveness, and I'm talking about releasing and forgiveness that is so amazing, that brings us to that full circle, that brings us to that heart energy. Forgiveness sets us free. Nobody gets away with anything. You know, I've had people just say, I just can't forgive that little bastard person because they hurt me. And meanwhile, I look at them or their parents or their situation or whatever, and they are imprisoned, and they are feeding their prison shackles by not wanting to forgive. And I know some things are really hard to think of forgiveness. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there that could just really ignite you. But when you see, feel, sense, or know that there are shackles, that you're being plugged into it, and surrender into that nobody gets away with anything. Karma is real, and it's exactly designed how the people are getting it, right? And so you don't have to be the karma police, just forgive. Also, I saw persecution and equination. So this is where we're clearing out, again, feeling that we're being persecuted, the kind of victim energy, right? That we are, again, imprisoned and enslaved. And so when we start unplugging and getting rid of those shackles, then we could have the freedom to forgive, and then work on connecting more to our higher self, our angel self, and backing ourselves up with that. And then the last card was faith and trust. I read it backwards. Trust and faith. And so there is a point where, especially as this energy is continuing to get stronger and stronger, and I spoke of the energy throughout March to May everywhere, in all different shows. And I started seeing this energy in September, and now we're in the thick of it, guys. And so trust and faith, especially as we're doing these deep cellular releases, there is a energy that I'm going to go into it a little bit next time, because there's a real resurrection energy, a reset, realignment, remembering, reawakening, and all that energy coming in. But I'll get more into that next time. But the trust and faith is like, there's a difference between blind faith, where I hand my power over to somebody else. That is, I put their trust and faith that they're going to lead the way. That's staying in the backseat of the energetic car. That is, and we didn't come here to do that. We came here to connect to our own power and within, right? And on this journey, there is a time where it feels like I have to trust, and I have to have the faith that what I'm doing, I'm backed up, right? And that's where you want to ask for your guides and angels to come in. You know, they'll give you signs. They work through numbers, smells, birds, all different ways, feelings. Ask. You got to ask, right? Ask for the support, trust and know that you got the support, and then you'll start getting into a habit to ask it through it daily or throughout the day, and then it just becomes part of your norm. So trust and faith, forgiveness, and clearing out that energy of feeling victimized, persecuted, and again, the my way, highway, old patriarchal energy, I am the chosen one, you got to sit at my feet, is just the way the energy is doing its last hurrah to to work on fear. You'll miss out if you don't do this. You know, I only have the keys, you know, all that kind of stuff. I hold the keys of the kingdom. I hold the keys to your success. You don't work with me, then you don't have success, or you don't have health or happiness, or blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that people can't help and guide. It's not about that. But when there's that underlining energetic signature, consciously or unconsciously, sometimes he's putting her out there, a lot of their white shadow that they don't even realize they're doing it. But if that energy is a power tripping power play that is really not in lifting people and powering them up and lifting them up, then that's just old energy dynamics going. And then we want to ask within ourselves where we're doing that, so we could unplug from that fear, have trust and faith, and back ourselves up, right? Working again on this collective forgiveness allows us to have access to that heart energy. That heart energy is heaven. It is creator energy. It is health, wealth, happiness. It's all there, right? So I want to say, encourage you during these times of March, where that also means manifesting miracles. The more we connect to this energy within and throughout, it's miraculous. It's so many people are getting woke, using the kids' terms, but they're making giant steps in their evolutionary process too. So that's very, very cool. So let's support each other. It's the real new roundtables where we support each other, we empower each other, we lift each other up, we let go of the power tripping things. And you got to remember, we're all hardwired into this. This is the way that we were even hardwired to have success and all the other stuff. We're learning a new language, but it's actually a very fluent language. It's a very flowy, feminine energy. And just because it's that, don't think that it doesn't have a power. Just think of, there used to be a commercial of Don't Mess with Mother Nature, and she was there all with nature and having this white dress, and she was, you know, out of somewhere in her 50s or whatever, and looked all airy-fairy, and then all of a sudden she's like, bam, it's just a lightning rod, you know? So, flowy and yang energy has power too, but not misuse of power, right? So let's empower and get each other up there. Let's add less static in our own lives and static out in the world. And I'm going to finish with the divine within you and the divine within me. Let's radiate it and create. Till next time. Bye-bye.